He warned us that something was coming.
If there is ever an end in this forever war, it will be because of you and your strong right hand.
I'm on your side!
Sorry, my bad.
We're the line in the sand. We fight against the forces of darkness.
This is it.
We're expecting a sign that says secret headquarters.
Oi. I need some ID, love.
Are you serious?
You made me a damn weapon. I just wanted to help you become the best you.
Some dads get their kids Legos.
Haven't we got to be saving the world or something?
Does it do anything special?
Yeah. It smashes things real good.
You are mankind's best and only hope.
I thought we were supposed to be fighting monsters, not working with them.
Who you calling monster, pal? You look in the mirror recently?
He's an asshole.
Sorry! I interrupt!
On the contrary, you've arrived just in time.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. This is year 7. That's right, year 7. This is year 7 of Movie Month. For 30 days, I'll watch 30 movies and do 30 podcasts. It's the 20th day.
Welcome to my nightmare. I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna feel you belong. A nocturnal vacation. Unnecessary sedation. You wanna feel it.
Yesterday, I was doing happy hour with my coworkers. I had the day off, but I'm on vacation. But, you know, you're not going into the office right now. So any chance to, like, hang out with them, I take. It's not like I'm going anywhere, doing much. I went to the park yesterday, going back to that same park right now. But other than that, not much going on. And they were asking what movie I watched yesterday, and asked me if there were any movies that I really didn't like. And I said, not really, because most of these movies I want to see. Like, I'm not just watching them to review them. I'm watching them because I have an interest in them, or because I know they're supposed to be really good. And, you know, so there isn't a time where I think, wow, this was a real stinker. Even some of these, like, you know, lighthearted or like silly comic book movies. Nope, I'm into them. But then something happens along the way that changes your mind. Not even 24 hours later, I watched a movie where I said, you know what? This one was a stinker. And I knew it. I knew it going in. You can't go into a movie that has a 17% Rotten Tomato score and think, you know what? The critics got it wrong. I'm with the 17%. I bet you I'm going to like this. Today I watched the 2019 reboot of Hellboy. Now, Hellboy first came into my attention with the 2004 movie. And I didn't see it right away because I was like, what the hell is this? But then I eventually caught it on video. And I don't think I saw it for Movie Month. I think I saw it before I did Movie Month. I think. I know No, you know what? That might not be true. I'm not sure. I know Hellboy 2 I definitely did for a previous Movie Month. And I really, really enjoyed those movies because of the craziness, the weird characters, the feeling that you weren't watching just crazy CGI, and that all really comes down to the director Guillermo del Toro. He's the man behind Hellboy, the man behind oh boy, what the hell is he behind? You know, Pan's Labyrinth, The Water, that water movie with the fish monster there. You know that one there. You know that one. Then there's the one where it's like the haunted house one. You know. Anyway, Guillermo del Toro is a cinematic visual master genius. Okay, I'm totally into him and his movies. And when you try to make a movie, a new version, and now look, this isn't his characters, this isn't his world, okay? But when you try to reinvent something that he has put such a staple on, such a mark on, and you do it without him, you see what's missing. Him, okay? Look, Ron Perlman is Hellboy, okay? The dude, now, I mean, you say, wow, the dude's face really looks like, he looks like Hellboy. But even this Hellboy, the guy's head was kind of the same, very, very similar shape. So I don't even want to say that the actor playing Hellboy was the problem, because he's not. David Harbour from Stranger Things is like a great actor, and I really enjoy him. And to me, this movie did not fail on the actor level, okay? I mean, yes, when you see that Mila Jovovich is in a movie, you go, oh, it's going to be a big special effects dumb movie, right? No, not completely dumb, but kind of dumb. But it's tough because the comic book source material, I don't have a ton of experience with, but I have read a few good chunks. Like, I've read a few good trade paperbacks, which, for those who don't know, are the collections of comics, like, 6 or 7 comics of a story arc, like, put into a trade paperback so that you can kind of read the whole story in one. It's like a collection. And I've read numerous of those, numerous volumes of those, whatever you want to say. Numerous ones of those, I don't know, words. And I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the art and the writing of Mike Mignola. Mignola? Yeah, that's it. Who was creator of Hellboy. It seems like I don't know if it's a difference between comic creators and film creators, or at some point there was a sort of a disagreement between Guillermo del Toro and Mike Mignola, so they never got Hellboy 3 on the ground. And this time Mike Mignola, I think, was a little more hands-on, and maybe he should stick to comic books. I don't know. Or maybe choose a different director. I don't know. Or a better special effects firm. Because right away watching this movie, and I knew it got panned by the critics. I knew it. But I said, you know what? I still want to see it. It's still Hellboy. I still want to see what they do this time around. How they do the Hellboy and his crazy characters. His like crazy, the people in his world. Well, there were none of those. They barely had any of those. We got a guy who turned into a cat later, and we had a psychic, and I guess they're all in the comic book, from what I read. They're all in the comic book. But, like, I'm used to the team with, Abe Sapien, and, mostly him. I'm used to the team from the movie, okay? So, they did tease that character at the end for the sequel that I'm assuming is never going to happen. I'm pretty sure this movie did absolutely nothing at the box office, and it just kind of fizzled away. And I get it. Now, there's your fanboys out there who are like, screw this. Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman are the creators are the people behind the Hellboy world movies, and I would never see anything other than that. So there's that. Then there's the people who don't know what the hell Hellboy is and wouldn't see it anyway, And that's you take away all those fanboys and you make a movie that was this, and you make it rated R but also rated R. The other two Hellboys were PG-13. That was enough. They never swore in the. I was reading something where I think Hellboy said "son of a bitch" in the comic books. That's it. It wasn't like this gritty, swearing, story that they basically like, hey, let's all be Deadpool. So making this movie rated R and not having the visual director. I apologize. It's hot out, so I'm putting my air conditioner up a little higher. But not having the visual palette that Guillermo del Toro gives you, you end up with this, which is a director that I don't know who he is. Okay, was it Neil Marshall? I bet you he's directed something else, but it's like you kind of, and he's capable enough, but it felt like this movie failed in special effects. First of all, right away, like I think a helicopter flew overhead, and I thought, whoa! Like the special effects, the CGI in some of this was so bad. We cut to the year 571 or something, and we're bringing Arthurial legendary into this, King Arthur and Merlin. And I looked and I was like, you know what? I bet you that is in the comic books. I didn't read that one, but yes, that all ties into the comic books. And for some reason, it works in a comic book completely fine with me. And yet, when I'm in a movie, even though the movie is about this hell spawn demon boy who is actually doing good, for some reason I'm like, this seems silly in a movie called Hellboy. It's like this Queen of Blood, played by Mila Jovovich, who she's like the head of the leader of monsters, and King Arthur wants to kill her. So he does. Chops her up and gives it to the Knights of the Round Table, I'm assuming, to scatter parts of her throughout the world so that she may never put herself back together like a Humpty Dumpty. Fast forward, and Hellboy is in Mexico, Tijuana, someplace. Tijuana's in Mexico, right? I don't know things. He's someplace, and he's trying to pick up an old agent who went down to get a nest of vampires. And because, he works for the BPRD, which is the Bureau of Paranormal Research, BPRD, and Development and Defense. I don't know, but it's like the paranormal branch of the government, a hidden secret branch of the government. That's what the BPRD is. Okay, all right, okay, and he's down there looking for a buddy of his, and it turns out his friend is now hiding as a masked luchador, lucha libre, which is the masked Mexican wrestling, which is a big deal in Mexico. It's like this. They see it as like theater, which, that's what wrestling is. But down there, it's like even respected. We're up here, some people look down upon you if you are a wrestling fan. I know that firsthand. Anyway, what I don't like is, and again, this is in a movie called Hellboy, I don't like whenever they take wrestling seriously. In other words, they make it seem like it's real. Like, remember in Spider-Man? Like, he had to wrestle a guy. Maybe back then they didn't even, when they wrote the comic, it makes sense, but because they didn't know wrestling was, wink, wink. But in this, it seems like this guy wrestled a regular wrestling match. I don't know. I don't care. And then he's like, we have a celebrity here. Hellboy. It was like Muchacho Muerte or Diablo. Muchacho Diablo. Is that Hellboy? And he's like the biggest paranormal investigator in the world. And so this is a world where these things aren't secret, they aren't hidden. There is paranormal creatures out there, and the world knows it. And Hellboy takes off his jacket and hat, and they're like, oh, everyone's freaked out. And then he's like, come fight in the ring with me. So they kind of wrestle a little bit. And then all of a sudden his friend starts turning into a vampire. Now, I guess in the Hellboy world, when you turn into a vampire, you turn into a out-and-out giant bat creature, bad CGI bat creature with wings, who then hits a post, and the post with a rounded top somehow stabs through your entire body, and Hellboy kills his friend. And because he kills his friend, he couldn't save him. He's all upset, so he's drinking down in Mexico, and they finally come to bring him back to the BPRD because Dad wants to see him. Now, this is Hellboy. He is a devil. He's a devil boy. He's got horns, but he doesn't like them, so he always cuts them off and shaves them down. So we see him shaving them down, and then we see Dad show up. Dad is Ian McShane, okay? Now, it's not really his dad. It's a doctor who adopted him and took him in. Ian McShane, who I am watching destroy right now in Deadwood. He's a great actor. And I'm looking at David Harbour from Stranger Things, Hopper, and Al Swearingen from Deadwood, Ian McShane, and I am feeling sorry for them. I'm like, oh my God, what are you guys? I feel bad that you're in this already. I'm like 5 minutes in. I'm like, oh, you guys are really good actors. Oh man, and he's like, all right, Hellboy. He actually helps him shave. My boy, you're a handsome boy. He's complimenting him and stuff. And he's like, I need you to go to the Osiris Club. He's like, the strip club? He goes, no. This is a club in England of, I don't know. It's a club of socialites and shit like that. And come on, you can go. I'm letting this guy go because I'm a polite driver. And you're going to go help them. They have a giant problem. He goes, oh, with what? With giants. So he goes out to this place, and he meets these people, and he meets these people. And he goes, we've been hunting giants for years. It's part of our history. And he looks at an old photo, like really old, and he sees it's him. It's these guys that are fighting the giants and his dad. And there's like, you guys look exactly the same. This picture is really, really old. And then this psychic lady comes out with her eyes glassed over, and she's like, and she starts she starts explaining to us what's going on. We have been, our pace has been slowed down. We were brought in, and it all happened after World War II when the Nazis were, wow, there's a weird looking, like, motorcycle. It's not a motorcycle. It's like a car, dune buggy, but I think you have to wear a helmet. He's not wearing a helmet. That is weird. I'm driving by right now. And there's another one coming. Oh, no, that's just a Polaris. I'm driving really slow. Through Haverhill. So they give the whole narrative story of Hellboy. They're like, when the Nazis came back, they had the Nazi doctor, whatever the hell his name is. I can't think of his name. Rasputin. They brought him in to bring something from hell to help the Nazis, right? But at that same time, Lobster Johnson comes in to save the day along with people from the BPRD. Now, Lobster Johnson is played by Thomas Hayden Church. He's in this movie for 2 minutes, and then at the end for like 5 seconds. I think it's almost a joke because Lobster Johnson, I believe, is a character in the comic books. I think he might have even had his own spin-off. And this whole thing is he's like, look at my claw, and he's got this little thing on his hand where Hellboy has this giant, like, humongous, like, fist. This rock fist. This guy's got this little yellow thing, and they're like, look at my claw. They're like, oh. So I think that's kind of supposed to be a parody of things. I didn't quite get what's going on here. And then Ian McShane shows up. The psychic woman shows up. They're all in Nazi times, but they look the same. And they try to fight. They take the Nazis away, and they're going to kill whatever gets brought up by the Nazis by Rasputin. But it turns out to be this little devil boy who looks like the Ally McBeal dancing baby. And I was like, did it look this bad in the 2004 one? And it wasn't that different. It looks better in 2004, 15 years ago, before this movie. But he's like a little hell baby with a big fist, a little big fist, but a bigger fist. And I just don't want to crash, so I'm take my time coming through here. Okay. And he couldn't kill him, so he raised him as his own. So Hellboy's like, what? I'm from hell, and my dad never told me. You never knew your father was sent here to kill you. No, I didn't. I'm going to have that talk with him. He left that out. So they're like, all right, let's go kill the giants. And these guys all get suited up with spears that are electrified, and one guy wears this giant deer head, and it's like, we've been doing this for years. This is part of the tradition. And they're going along to go kill giants. I'm like, what is going on here? Why is Hellboy even here? Like, why would he... If these guys do this for a living, they're not used to having 3 giants, maybe? Is that why? Oh, 1 giant, maybe. But 2, perhaps, but not 3. So they... just looking both ways. They all go out on the hunt, and Hellboy's like, why do you even need me here? And he's like, that's a good point. And then the guy stabs him. It turns out these people think that Ian McShane was wrong to let Hellboy live, and they want to fulfill the destiny of killing Hellboy. So they start to kill him. They stab him. They stab him, stab him, stab him, stab him, stab him. And then one of the guys is like, and now, Hellboy, I shall. And then you see something quick go by, and then this guy's head lands in the water, and he dead. So Hellboy passed out. Hellboy wakes up. He's like, what's going on? Oh, all the giants are here. And he's like, oh, you really could have used me, couldn't you? And the giants are eating all the people are dead. And now he's got to fight 3 giants. And I was trying to figure out what was wrong with the CGI here. Like, when Hellboy's running, you could just feel like... I'm surprised we didn't see, like, the glow of green around him from the green screen. It looked so weird. Like, the CGI of the giants wasn't all that terrible, but it was like trying to do composite of Hellboy. I think it's called a composite, where you're layering things on top of these things. It felt really, really bad. And at the same time, okay, I think this warthog-looking dude went to... This is really freaking stupid. Went to this witch and he wants revenge on Hellboy, and she gives him an idea to go raise this witch that got all chopped up by finding all these different parts of her. So, and part of the parts is the head. Is the head at the BPR? I don't friggin' know. No. It's at this, all of a sudden there's this place where monks are. Monastery? And he breaks in there to steal a head of this woman. He's got all these, and then he starts getting all these parts for her. And at one point, she's like watching TV, and her arm is using the remote control, but her arm's separate from her body, and there's a leg lying across her. And I feel like I could do a better job on Photoshop than they did having that leg laying there. I was like, what in the hell? Is this like a bad sci-fi movie? Is this like Sci-Fi, the channel, has better effects than some of these effects? I'm sorry. These are just, like, the makeup on Hellboy was fine. The makeup on, like, the witch we see is fine. But some of these, like, effects were just like, meh, woof, oof, and it took me out of it. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Wow, there's a Dunkin' Donuts I just drove by that the line is crazy. So he fights the giants, kills the giants, and passes out, and then this van shows up, and the van this is like, where the hell are we going with this? So this van shows up, and next thing you know, he wakes up in an apartment, and there's a young woman there, and she's like, you don't remember me, Hellboy? And he's like, who are you? He's like, it's me, Sarah, or something like that. Sarah? I guess it really doesn't matter. He's like, Sarah? Oh, like, he couldn't believe he saw this girl that we don't know who she is. And then they kind of give this weird explanation. I haven't seen you since you were a child. So I don't even understand. Okay, we'll get there. So she's like, how you doing? I'm a psychic. Oh, you're a psychic now? Yeah, yep. Oh my God. So, she's like, duck. Oh, first she's like, why shouldn't I just kill you? Because I keep these ghosts are telling me you're going to bring in the end of the world. I should just kill you. And he's like, no, don't do that. And she never kills him. But then the BPRD shows up For some reason, they storm the house. I don't know why. And they're like, all right, Hellboy, we got to get back to, we got to figure out what's going on because they got these, these witches. We got to go figure out what's going on with these witches. Right? Something like that? Whatever. It doesn't really matter. None of this matters. So, like, that Warthog guy is now looking for the final part of her, like another foot or something. Who cares? And it's in the BPRD, so he goes through the BPRD and beats the crap out of everyone there. Hellboy sees him and recognizes him. Again, Hellboy recognizes this kid and recognizes this monster, and we don't know who these people are or have any reason to know or nothing. So then we get a flashback of... he tells the girl it was Warthog guy. She's like, how do you know? She goes, I just know. And then we get a flashback of this girl as a baby. Apparently the parents knew something was up. They knew something was different about her. Fairies like to take babies. So this fairy took a baby and put a changeling in place of him. Hellboy shows up with an iron horseshoe, puts it on the baby. The baby freaks out and turns into this baby warthog. It was a changeling the whole time. And the warthog tries to get away. And, my God, I can't believe I'm saying these things out loud. The warthog tries to get away. And then he does. And Hellboy's like, you better bring that baby back. And then Hellboy just waits. And then there's a knock at the door, and the baby's sitting there. And the fairies go away. I don't understand what the point of that was at all. That was dumb. And then later, from what I understand, this warthog wants revenge on Hellboy because Hellboy ruined his gig as pretending to be a baby. He could have had a nice life, and now he doesn't because Hellboy ruined it. And now that's why he wants to help bring upon the end of the world. It's friggin' stupid. Stupid. And it's like, I know these comic books are better than this. I've read these things. Some of these things felt smart and well planned out and just enjoyable, and I'm feeling dumb right now. So she's a very powerful psychic, so now she joins the team, and Daniel Day Kim is there, and he joins the team, but he doesn't trust Hellboy. And at one point, we see him go to this lab, and from these weapons makers, they make them this holy bullet that should kill Hellboy. Guess what? He never uses it. I don't even want to talk about this movie anymore. Guess what? He doesn't use the bullet. He almost does, and then he realizes Hellboy is not bad, and he ends up joining the team at the end. Blah blah blah. At the end, right? I mean, let's be honest. So at one point, Hellboy is. I'm all over the place, but at one point, Hellboy is in an elevator, and he gets pulled into another dimension where he sees the same witch that I think at the beginning told the warthog what to do, the warthog guy. And this witch is now explaining to him what's going on. Why? I don't know. He wants Hellboy's yellow eye. I don't know. The witch was like a contortionist. Kind of cool. I don't care. It was on a house that had chicken legs, which, again, I don't know. Again, that probably was something cool from the comic books. The comic books had really cool visuals. This was weird. I don't know. So Hellboy figures out, well, I know where they're going. And Mila Jovovich is back together. She goes back to this tree where Arthur killed her in the first place to get her blood. Her blood is in the tree. Of course it is. And she is now whole again. She brings all the monsters. Now, monsters, you can fight. And everybody, yay. And at the beginning of this, oh my God, what the hell? At the beginning of this movie, when Arthur kills this witch lady, the Queen of Blood, one of her sisters turns on her to help Arthur, and she puts on this crown, and she turns on Arthur, okay? Then, later on, when all the monsters come back, these three women come out, and one of them is this girl. She kills two of them and says, now, if you must plead your undying loyalty to me, you must do something for me. And then we never see her again, never hear from her again. No, wait, we do see her again. Okay. So, I guess this is... Okay, I'm trying to put 3 and 3 together because this is stupid. So then Hellboy shows up, shoots the queen in the head, but she comes back. She's fine. The bullet's not going to bother her. She takes one of her crown of thorns and throws it in the girl, the psychic girl, and she starts dying. And then the other girl, the blonde who was who betrayed the witch in the first place, said, I can help you. You have to get to Merlin. So I think they just, okay, I get it now. The queen wanted her to get to Merlin. Yes, Merlin. Yes, Arthur and Merlin, which I understand is in the comic book of the storyline. It just felt like, what the frig? So they go to Merlin's grave. He's been destined for a long life too, so he's alive. So they dig him up. He's like, fine. Hey guys, I'm Merlin. Oh, I feel good. He goes from a skeleton to a dude like in 5 seconds, and he's like, oh, what's going on with her? He saves her because he can, because he's Merlin. And once he saves her, he says, all right, now listen, this is your real destiny. This is what I got to tell you. King Arthur had children who had children who had children who had a daughter, and the daughter fell in love with a demon, and they had a baby, and the baby was you, and you're destined to save the world by grabbing as an heir to the throne, to King Arthur, as the heir to the King of England. You have the right to Excalibur. So he summons Excalibur, and Hellboy goes to grab it, he touches it, and he gets this vision of him riding this giant beast. He's got full horns, a flaming sword, and he's killing everybody and killing everything. And he realizes, no, if I do this, I bring upon the end of the world. So he doesn't do it, and Merlin's like, you fool! I used all my last powers to summon the sword, and then he crumbles and dies. And they're like, okay, we got to go get the witch now. So they, I don't even remember what the hell happens. They chase the witch to a church or something. Who knows? Who gives a shit? And they're there, or they summon him there. Who cares? There we see a giant version of, what a dick. Some guy's on those recumbent bikes, and you just want to look different. I don't know. It just annoys me. So they go to this church for who gives a shit again. I'm losing all patience. And the Warthog is there, and he's been granted powers now. He's even bigger and stronger. So he fights Hellboy, and then he's about to kill Hellboy, you guess, and the woman's like, no, don't kill him. And he's like, why? And then because I need him. And then Daniel Day Kim turns into a werepanther, because he had scratches on his face. He gets scratched by a monster, and we see him injecting stuff in him throughout the movie. This time he gets pinned onto something. He doesn't inject himself, and he turns into a leopard man. And as leopard man, he starts fighting the Warthog too, I think. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Finally, the Warthog's like, oh, we can kill him. He's like, no, we don't want to kill him. But you promised, I want revenge. And she's like, sorry. And then she shrinks him down to a little blob and blows him up, because now the Warthog's gone. Who cares? Then she's like, okay, listen. Oh, he gets thrown into a crypt. He goes, look at this. This is where King Arthur's grave is the whole time, under this. And we see Excalibur again. So Merlin summoned to where he was, but it's really where he is now, which just worked out perfectly. And this time, Hellboy is like, okay, I'll grab the sword. I don't remember why, but he grabs the sword. He grows these horns. He's got a flaming sword, a flaming crown. He comes out, and she's like, we are destiny now, destined to rule the world. And like demons are rising and killing people all over the place, ripping them apart to get that rated R movie for some reason. Really bad, like CGI tearing apart, and like really bad CGI blood too in some of this. Like it just looked like something from, I don't know, 2001, like Jason X or something. Which wasn't in 2001, was it? I don't remember. And now Daniel Day Kim has his magic bullet, and he's like, this is what I'm going to use it. And no, Hellboy chops off the girl's head, the witch's head, and there's a crack in the world that goes down to hell. And he goes, he says something about, you'll be a head. I forget what it was. He just made a head joke, threw a head into the ground. Then he tore the horns off, and he settled down. He was not the Demon King anymore, or whatever he was. And Daniel Day Kim took the bullet and threw it through the little holy water capsule until it burst. For some reason, I don't know. They just showed it burst, and I thought, oh, is that going to do something? It doesn't. And they're like, we're all saved. Yay, we saved the world. And then 6 months later, it flashes, and they're all working together on a job in Siberia, and they come across this tube of water, and it says something sapien. and then it shows a fishman hand, and that's Abe Sapien, which, if you know, the character of Abe Sapien is like a amphibious dude played by Doug Jones, he's like this real thin, lithy dude who plays creatures. He's on the new Star Trek show on CBS All Access as a weird creature dude, and he is the Fishman in The Shape of Water. Guillermo del Toro loves Doug Jones. I think he was in Pan's Labyrinth. I think he uses him all the time because the guy is like this physical performer that's like really good at stuff. And they offered him, I think, a cameo in this one, but he couldn't do it because of Star Trek. So they show this hand, and then boom, you're like, oh, okay, they're tying it in for the sequel, which I don't think we're going to get one unless it's direct to VHS. And then we have the credits, and then the end credit shows the witch again. And she's like, I will grant you whatever you want as long as you bring me the Hellboy's eye. And he's like, yes, as long as I can finally die. And I'm thinking, is that Merlin? Did Merlin come back? I don't know. And I don't care. I can't believe I talked 32 minutes about this movie. And yet some great movies I've talked only 20 minutes. I am now entering the town of Newburyport. Wait, here I go. And I'm I'm officially in Newburyport, so I'm going to be at the park soon with my beagle. I don't want to talk about Hellboy anymore. Look, it's funny. My friend Chris is like, I told you all these movies, and, you only got so many left. And it's like, look, dude, there's going to be great movies. I leave off the list. Great movies I just don't want to watch. Sometimes I want to watch a movie that I know might be bad, but I still want to see it, and that was this one. Do I regret seeing it? No, I don't. Because I'm okay seeing for myself how bad it was. I still like David Harbour. I think he was fine as Hellboy. And Ian McShane was cool. But, the psychic can like touch the dead bodies, and then a ghost of the psychic comes out of her mouth that looks all like ghosty, except the head is fine, and the torso kind of looks zombie-ish. And they can talk, so she can get like their last thoughts. So you get like this touching thing from Ian McShane. And I'm just picturing Ian McShane in this motion capture booth, everything covered in green except his head, and he's giving this speech. And then he looks and he's like, what the F did I just watch? What the F did I do? That's what I'm picturing, because it just looks goofy. And I just felt bad because he's a great actor. David Harbour's a great actor. Mila Jovovich acts in movies. She's been good and stuff. But it's just, I think of her as like these big, dumb action movies, these big Resident Evil movies, or all these movies that her husband directs. Yeah, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to talk about Hellboy anymore. It was as bad as people thought it was, even though there was some enjoyable moments in it. That's what I'll say. But the thing with the original is like some of the visuals, it feels real. There's something about certain directors that make things feel like they're actually there, even if they're CGI. It just feels like it's a lot of practical stuff. Maybe this was practical stuff, but it seemed like it was a lot of CGI, and the CGI was lacking and bad. Now I'm going to listen to Now Playing's podcast talking of this and see how much they agreed with me. Sometimes I think I like a movie, and then they talk about it. I'm like, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe I don't like it as much as I thought I did. But this one, I think we're going to agree. Not good. But as I said, a couple bright things to take out of it. But I'm done. I've said I'm done 10 times. I'm really done this time. Listen, you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Geek Mentality. There's a bunch of motorcycles driving by. Let's listen. You can't really hear them. On Facebook, the Facebook page is Fans Not Experts, and the website is fansnotexperts.com. We're available everywhere podcasts are available. Google Plus is not a place anymore. Panera Bread, Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Used to be called iTunes. Remember that? That was a thing. Podbean, I think. Stitcher, TuneIn. There's a bunch of things everything's done through Anchor. They distribute to a bunch of places that I never even heard of, like Radio Public. I think we're there too. So Overcast, anywhere podcasts are available. Pocket Cast, that's what I use. And now I'm done. So I'm out of this Hellboy movie talk, and I'm gonna go take a nice walk in the woods with my beagle because it is hot. So we're gonna get hot in the shade, as Paul Stanley once said. So until tomorrow, my friends, until day 21. Can you believe it? We're in the 20s. We only have 10 movies left. Woo! Until tomorrow, my friends, I'm out of here, and here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans not experts.